Hi, love, and welcome to the All That You Deserve podcast, where we talk about all things life, wellness, money, and mindset. And I share real life moments with you as a 20-something. I'm your host, Caroline Astorga. In this episode, we're flirting with our finances. No spreadsheets. I'm sharing my go-to money saving tips and hacks that are realistic. Before I go into my money saving tips and hacks, I did want to talk to you about how expensive things are right now. Have you gone to Starbucks? A medium coffee, $7 plus tax. What? That's insane to me. You know, I saw on social media recently, I was scrolling and I saw that somebody had a Walmart order from before the pandemic. They went into their order history. They reordered. They hit reorder because Walmart, the app has the ability to do that. They hit reorder, and what was previously over a little bit over $100 was now over $500. What kind of, when they talk about inflation, I mean, hello? That's kind of crazy, guys. That's honestly ridiculously crazy. I feel like we're all feeling that now. In any aspect, when you're buying clothes, when you're buying groceries, when you're just trying to live your everyday life and be an aesthetic girly, everything is so expensive. And that's why I'm here, because I wanted to give you some money saving tips and hacks that I personally use and that I've also come across on other financial podcasts that I've listened to. And I wanted to share them with you. Now, I know I started off by saying that we're going to be flirting with our finances. Now, what does flirting with your finances mean? Financial flirting means trying on money habits without going full finance bro. By that, I just mean low pressure money habits and hacks. So some of my favorite money saving hacks are auto transfers. I know auto transfers can be dreadful because we hate to see the money come out of our account automatically, and then you end up looking at your account and you're like, damn, I'm really broke. But I feel like with that, there has to be a change in mindset, the way that we look at it. Sometimes people are more comfortable with manually transferring auto payments out to wherever they're designated to go to. But if you can, and if it doesn't bother you too much, I would definitely set up some auto transfers just so it can alleviate some of that mental load of having to remember on a specific day of the month or a couple days before it's due, because sometimes things take a couple business days to take out of your bank account. So it's a lot of mental load for you to take on a monthly basis, and sometimes it does make you feel more comfortable, and it does reassure that those payments are going to go out on a timely manner if you do set up auto payment. I have also heard of hacks such as saving almost purchases. Almost purchases means, let's say for example, today I passed by a Starbucks and I wanted to go ahead and buy some Starbucks. I don't know why Starbucks is always my example of things, but I love coffee, so we're gonna stick with it. So if I pass by a Starbucks and I want a Starbucks so bad, but I say, oh, as a matter of fact, forget that, I'm just gonna make coffee when I get home, then I save myself $7 or $8, depending on what size, of course, I got. If I got a grande, a venti, whatever, then I save myself about $8. So I'd automatically transfer that amount of money to my savings because I almost purchased that item. Another example would be if I decide that I'm not going to go to Marshall's today. I passed by, but I stuck to my guns and I decided not to go in the store. Most likely, I just saved myself $30 to $40 because I always find something that I want in Marshall's. So I'd automatically transfer that money that I could have spent, but I didn't, almost purchases. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like girl math also gets in the way of that, of almost purchases, because, and I've done this before, I'm guilty of it, because sometimes I'll say, I could have bought the Starbucks $7, but I didn't. So technically, I didn't spend it, which means technically I have $7 to spend on something else. So try to avoid girl math. Sometimes girl math does not benefit you. Personally, there's one other thing that I do to save some money, and that is I automatically have my paychecks that are paid out to me. I separate them two different ways. I like to have a set amount go into my direct deposit for my checking, and then the remaining amount that I earned on that paycheck will go directly into my savings account, so I don't see it, and it kind of acts like I didn't get that money. Like I didn't see that money, I didn't get that money. That money goes directly towards my savings. I don't count that as spending money. So personally, the platform that my job has gives me the flexibility to go ahead and make that adjustment. I set my amounts for my paycheck as my checking account to have $1,300 paid out to my checking account. And then I have the option to have the remaining balance of my check automatically deposited to my savings. And that's just helpful to me to automatically save money. So I act like my paychecks are less than what they actually are. Another way to do this is to automatically set your savings account to take out a specific amount from your checking whenever your direct deposit is deposited into your account. So if you got paid that week and you automatically have a set amount go into your savings. I know some banks make it easier than others. Personally, the bank account that I have SoFi. I personally love my bank. My bank has different vaults that you can put into your savings account, which is pretty cool because before I used to have multiple different banks just so I could have an idea of like, okay, so for Wells Fargo savings account, I'm going to have as my saving towards my house, and for my Chase savings account, I'm going to have that for saving towards my car or saving towards, emergency fund or whatever it is. But now with SoFi, they have the ability to have one savings account, and then you can open basically sub savings account within that account. And they call them vaults, and you can have specific money moved into those vaults, and you can name that vault whatever you want it to be. Whatever you want it to be. So I have one for my house. I have a vault for my house that I want to save for. I have a vault for my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law's wedding that's coming up in October, and I'm saving for the money that I'm going to have to spend for their wedding and being a bridesmaid and getting my hair and makeup done and all those things. And I have a vault for my car insurance, which leads me to my other point, which is dividing for what you want to save. By that, I mean my vault for my car insurance. I know that every 6 months, and I pay my car insurance for a total of 6 months. So every 6 months, I have a little over $1,000 to pay towards my car insurance. So what I'll do is I'll get the total amount that I want saved, let's say $1,000, and I'll divide it by the time frame in which I need to save that money. So 6 months. So I can do it by paycheck. I can do it by paycheck. So I'll calculate how many paychecks I have until the next upcoming in car insurance payment, and every single time a check is deposited into my checking account, the automatic amount that's supposed to be sent over will be sent over to that vault, that specific saving for my car insurance vault. I hope that made sense. But yeah, just making sure that you're dividing your savings goal by the amount of checks or amount of months or the time period that you have to obtain that goal is really helpful to kind of keep you on track and make sure you're aware of the upcoming spending and payments you have to make every single time you're going to contribute to that savings. Honestly, this episode could go on forever and ever with the amount of saving hacks there are out there, but these are just some of the ones that I wanted to share with you. Another thing I wanted to make sure I mention, and I will be mentioning every single time that we talk about money, is savings accounts. I know that everybody has their generic savings account in Chase, Wells Fargo, whatever bank you have. You have your generic savings account that earns you an interest rate for you holding your money in that savings account, usually around 0.5%. And those are regular savings accounts with regular banks. I highly, and if there's anything you take away from this podcast is this, highly recommend you look into high yield savings accounts. They basically are the same exact thing. You put your money in there to save it. You can access it and transfer it over to your checkings whenever you want. However, high yield savings accounts are built a little differently. High yield savings accounts have a higher percentage rate that is earned on the money that you have in there. Let me give you an example, a personal example. I had $10,000 sitting in my savings account in Chase for God knows how long. I want to say a year or a year and a half, because I had recently just reached my goal of saving $10,000. Now, I was taking a look at the amount of interest that I earned. Every month I was earning a penny, 5 pennies maybe, and it sucked. Like, my money's sitting there. I should be earning more because the bank plays with your money on the back end, so you should be earning more. Then I came across, and full perks to her, I came across the Financial Feminist podcast with Tori Dunlap as the host. She talked about high yield savings accounts. She's the one who introduced me to SoFi, the bank account that I use now, and I'm never looking back. High yield savings account are definitely the way to go. This is not sponsored. I'm not telling you this because I gain anything from it. I really just feel like not a lot of people know about this, and it's very important because I didn't know about it until I was 26. So just a year ago, I learned about this. So I would definitely look into high yield savings accounts. You can go with SoFi. You can go with any other bank that provides a high yield savings account. Just make sure you look at the disclosure details. Initially, I started SoFi with it was just about 5% of the APY, which is the interest earned on the money that you have in your account. Now, with all, I guess, everything that's happening in the market and all the fluctuations and with the banks, it's come down little by little. And right now we're at 3.8%. And I'm talking, when is it? What time is it? Like, what date is it? And I'm recording this July of 2025. So it's possible the rates have gone down or up. They're constantly fluctuating based on the market and based on things that banks calculate things off of. But currently it's at 3.8%. So if you think about it, if I had $10,000 saved in a 3.8% and you earn that 3.8% for that amount of money being there every month, I'd be earning not pennies, but dollars, okay? Maybe even $10, $15, $20. As of right now, I have about $15,000 saved. And last I checked, I almost got, for the past month, I was like $36 or just right under $40. So highly recommend you guys look into that. And that's my number one recommendation to anybody. If you have a regular savings account, you're missing out on free money. Go get a high yield savings account, please. All right, I'm done ranting. I hope this helped. I hope this podcast episode gave you some perspective and some insights as to how you can have some money saving hacks and you can flirt with your finances. We don't all have to be financial bros. You don't have to be financially quote unquote literate, because there's so many types of literacy when it comes to finance, but these are the basics. If you guys have any financial tips or tricks that you want to share with me on my Instagram. You can go ahead and reach me. I have my @ down below. I have 2 Instagrams. I have my podcast Instagram, which is All That You Deserve Pod. And then I have my personal Instagram where you guys can follow me, Mrs. Caroline. So it's MRSKaroline. And you can follow me on those 2 social media accounts. Make sure to go ahead and like, subscribe, leave a rating for this podcast episode, and I'll see you guys next week.